Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Brothers channel. And this is my first impressions look on the Adidas Dame 8. So this is Damian Lillard's 8th signature shoe with Adidas, and it retails for 120 bucks. They did increase the price $10 from the Dame 7, unfortunately. But it's still pretty damn cheap, and I like how Damian Lillard always keeps his signature shoe very, very cheap. That's what he said he wants to give to the fans, a very cheap signature shoe so that it's not like too expensive for the people who can't afford the more expensive shoes. So shout out to Damian Lillard for that. If you guys do want to cop it, try to leave a link in the description box. I mean, this colorway came out, and when I saw it on Adidas, every single size was available. So links are below, but let's get it started right off with the tracciones. As far as the traction pattern goes, we have like a wavy herringbone traction pattern, and we have this pod that's kind of like in the center of the outsole. We got 3 little grooves here. It's not really a flex groove. I don't really know what this is. I guess it does reduce a little bit of the weight, since you don't really need traction as much here. You mostly need it here in the forefoot and here in the heel. And then around the perimeter of the outsole, we have like a lightning bolt pattern, very similar to the Dame 6 and also the Dame 7. And also it is 2 colors, but as far as how it feels on my wood floors right now, it feels pretty damn nice. There's a nice high-pitched squeak. The bite seems pretty damn hard. It does slip out a little bit. I mean, I always say this, my floors are very dirty and dusty, and it seems like it's picking up a little bit of dust. Of course, we'll have to see on the performance on dust for the performance review, but the overall bite seems pretty good, and I feel like it's gonna be good on a clean court. As far as the durability goes, I feel like it's gonna be very good on an outdoor court as well. You know, the rubber grooves are pretty thick, pretty deep, and also the rubber is pretty damn hard. So outdoor use, I feel like it's gonna be good, and also it's a pretty cheap shoe, 120 bucks. And also it says, it's kind of weird, right here it says bob and weave, and then you turn it around, it says stick and move. So there you go. Moving on to the heel to toe transition. So here in the heel, it feels very, very smooth. Like there is a very nice curved shape, fully exposed Bounce Pro midsole, which we'll get into. So it feels very, very smooth here in the heel, and then in the forefoot, there's a nice curved shape as well as a lot of forefoot flex. Look at that. So it's comparing it to other Adidas shoes like the Dawn Issue 1, which was super flat. It feels a lot smoother, and heel to toe transition I feel like is going to be very, very nice. Moving on to the cushioning setup. So we have a full length dual density Bounce Pro midsole, and this boy is thick, guys. So core feel I would say is pretty good, but not great comparing it to like the Curry 8, Harden Volume 4, or even the Kyrie 8. It's not as low as those, but it's still pretty good. Like here in the forefoot, it feels pretty damn low. Here in the heel, it gets up there, guys, and you can definitely feel a pretty high offset, which feels nice. And there is a crazy amount of compression here in the heel, like a lot. It's super soft, and I like it personally. I don't think it's too much or too soft, but I definitely do know people that don't like that, especially comparing it to like Dame 6 and Dame 7. I know a few people that actually said it's a little too soft. So if you don't like the feeling of the Dame 6 and Dame 7 in the heel, then you probably won't like it here in the Dame 8. So Bounce Pro feels just as soft as Light Strike, and it feels like it has the same amount of compression as well. Hopefully though, it has a little bit more bounce. You know, Light Strike, there's a little bit of bounce back, but just not a crazy amount of bounce, especially comparing to like React. But hopefully here in the bounce, once I start running and playing in it, there is a good amount of bounce back. We'll have to see on that though. As far as the overall step and comfort goes right now, it doesn't feel great, right? So they use, okay, so it says bye. It's a bye for the insole, which is a pretty cool graphic, I guess. But as far as the insole goes, they're using a very thin insole as per usual. Adidas usually gives us like very thin paper stock insoles, so that doesn't feel very nice and doesn't improve step and comfort at all. And then underneath the insole, we have the strobo board, which is also pretty stiff, and hopefully it breaks in, because the step and comfort right now feels kind of stiff, and I wish the step and comfort was a little bit more comfortable. It just kind of feels more stiff right underneath your foot, and then you have that crazy good softness and compression here in the heel, which feels nice. So I'm liking the cushioning setup so far. Just hopefully the step and comfort gets a little bit better. All right, moving on to the material. So we have like a textile material, kind of like a textile mesh. It reminds me a little bit of the Dawn Issue 1, and it feels pretty nice. You know, it's soft, it's pretty damn thin, it conforms to your foot extremely well. It doesn't really feel glued down at all either. We have a little bit of fuse here on the lateral side and also on the medial side. I don't really know why though. I would much rather have it here in front or at the tip of the toe. So if you do toe drags, you're good to go for durability. But anyways, that's where the fuse is. And pretty much this mesh material is only here in the toe box, and then coming here into the midfoot and also here in the heel. It's a different material, but it's pretty much the same type of material. It's like a textile mesh, same thing here in the heel. It also says Dame, right? And then here on the medial side, it says 4th quarter KO. And then there's a boxing glove here. Also for the pull tab here on the tongue, we have the Damian Lillard logo, and it's kind of like off center. It's more on the lateral side of the shoe. And underneath that, we have, I'm guessing this is Damian Lillard's signature. So here in the midfoot, it stays pretty damn thin. And then coming here to the tongue, it has a little bit of padding. I would say a pretty minimal amount of padding, but it's still not bad. And also it is a half booty construction tongue, which does improve the overall fit. And then coming here into the ankle area, we have some crazy Achilles pillows. All right, it's not really an Achilles pillow, it's more like an ankle bone pillow because it's more like on the sides of the shoe. And there's like 4 pads. It kind of looks like a 4-leaf clover. It looks pretty cool. And there's a good amount of padding. It does definitely feel very comfortable. And then all the way in the back of the heel where your Achilles is, we have like this is an actual kind of like Achilles pad. You know, there's a little bit of padding there. It kind of goes over your Achilles, which feels very nice, and also makes the shoe overall a lot easier to put on, just because you can pull this up a good amount to help your heel slide in. So the overall material for 120 bucks, like the fuse and like the synthetic materials isn't the best, but the overall like feeling on foot, especially with this mesh material, feels awesome. All right, moving on to the fit of the shoe. I went true to size and it runs a little long. So when I kick the shoe and put my foot all the way forward so that my toe is all the way at the tip of the shoe, I can fit one finger down. So it definitely does run long, and I would suggest going down half a size if you want a very snug fit. Right now it feels pretty good. There's a good amount of padding here in the ankle area, so that's definitely pushing my foot a little bit forward, but there still is a little bit of length, but it doesn't make it too uncomfortable for me. It feels pretty nice. As far as the width goes, I would say it's around normal width. And here in the toe box, it is a little roomy. It's not super uncomfortable where it's like very roomy and I hate it, but I definitely do wish that it was a little bit more snug, because I like a very snug fit, as you guys all know. Because here in the toe box in the Dame 8, I can curl my toes up pretty much fully, which kind of does suck. And I feel like this mesh material will definitely stretch out, especially when I break it in. It'll probably get a little bit roomier. So for me, the fit isn't the best, and Dames usually don't fit me all too well. You know, I feel like Damian Lillard maybe has like a thicker foot and also wider foot, and maybe he just likes a roomier fit. I don't know what it is, but Dames never really fit me like perfectly, especially comparing it to like Kyrie's and Curry's and KD's. If you have a wide foot or a thick foot, you should be okay going true to size, but if you want to be safe, you should probably go up half a size. Alright, moving on to the support and lockdown, I feel like it's gonna be good. So for lateral containment, this material feels pretty damn supportive, and you have this kind of like synthetic material here, kind of like stiffening up the material a little bit here on the lateral side in the forefoot. Here in the midfoot, it stays pretty stiff, and then here in the heel, this foam does come up a good amount. And also we have an internal TPU heel counter. So lateral containment, I feel like it's gonna be good. And as far as the lateral stability goes, there is no crazy outrigger, but the outsole or the midsole does protrude out a good amount, giving it a very wide base, and you're pretty low to the ground here in the forefoot. So I feel like lateral stability is going to be good in the shoe as well. Moving on to the weight, so that's something that I'm pretty curious about. Feeling it actually does feel pretty light, right? So as you guys all know, bounce cushion is pretty high density. So usually when shoes have bounce cushion, no matter how thin and minimal and lightweight the upper feels, the overall shoe is pretty damn heavy just because bounce is heavy, right? So Bounce Pro, I feel like maybe is a little bit lighter, yeah, as far as like the density goes. So, but I don't think it's gonna be crazy light. Oh yeah, so 12.73 ounces. Let's check the right pair, 12.77 ounces. So that's around average weight. Let's check the Dawn issue 1. This was like 13. Okay, no, 14.67 ounces. So this shoe is pretty damn heavy, and that has to do with the bounce, because there's not a lot of padding, and it's mostly to do with the bounce cushion, right? So yeah, that's definitely a welcome change. And Light Strike also is light. You know, if you look at its older shoes that uses bounce, they are a little bit heavier. So I do like the overall weight of the Dame 8. And I feel like it's gonna be an overall pretty responsive shoe as well. And moving on to the aesthetics, it looks great. It's a very simple design, but overall I really like it. This colorway is a little weird. I feel like if this kind of green color was like more brownish, like a tan color, it could be a really cool like PB&J color. But yeah, this colorway is definitely weird. Not a huge fan of the colorway, but it definitely does stand out, I guess, right? But there is another colorway coming out in January. It's like a black and white colorway that looks a lot better, and I like the overall aesthetic or silhouette of the shoe as well. So tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, the Dame 8 is looking pretty damn nice. I like it so far. The cushion feels very, very comfortable. Traction seems promising. Material feels pretty damn nice, although it's not the best for quality. The only thing is fit, and I feel like maybe I need a double sock if I want a tighter fit, or maybe add another insole into the shoe. But it's not a terrible fit, you know, it's not to the point where it's like I hate the fit. It's just not as like snug as I would like, which is okay, you know? So anyways, my first impressions of the Dame 8 are looking pretty damn good. But that about concludes this video. Again, if you guys do want to cop, I'll try to leave an affiliate link in the description box, but that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.